Welcome to Are You an Accident of Nature, Part 5, featuring evolutionist Richard Dawkins. We're going to have a video of him saying that maybe aliens created life. We're also going to review another very prominent agnostic who also says the same thing. Now, why would they do this? This is their response to our preceding video in which we demonstrated that it is impossible for life to have started by natural means on Earth. It's just impossible. And it's impossible from chemistry point of view, and it's impossible from an information science point of view. The information in DNA could never have been created by just natural means. And they know this, but not wanting to admit that God exists, not wanting to acknowledge that they have a creator to which they are accountable, they have to come up with another explanation. Having none, they postulate that maybe aliens brought life here. That also turns out to be provably false, as we'll show in the video after this. But first, let's see what the evolutionists say in their own words. Quite revealing, isn't it? So again, this is from the DVD, Expelled, No Intelligence Allowed, and it's being used by permission of our Canadian friends. Thank you, Canada. Ben Stein's comments in the film, let's review those. He said, Professor Dawkins was not against intelligent design, just certain types of designers, such as God. Professor Dawkins said, if you look at the details, I'm quoting here, if you look at the details of biochemistry, you might find a signature of some sort of designer. How about that? but not God. He doesn't want to believe in God. Mr. Dawkins said, perhaps they designed a form of life which they perhaps seeded onto this planet. So he is willing to accept intelligent design, at least in this video, but he will not attribute it to God. Now, Mr. Dawkins is not the only famous atheist or agnostic to suggest this explanation, because it is a problem. People who know the science know that you can't get life by natural means. Chemistry prohibits it, information science prohibits it. So Francis Crick, who is he? Well, he's the co-discoverer of the structure of the DNA molecule with James D. Watson. He shared a Nobel Prize with 2 other men for their discoveries concerning the molecular structure of nucleic acids, in other words, DNA, and its significance for information transfer in living material. In other words, he won a Nobel Prize for figuring out how DNA stores information. He knows something about information. He does the same thing as Richard Dawkins. He understands that this could not have happened by natural means, so he says, maybe aliens did it. He wrote a paper called Directed Panspermia. In this paper, he says this: we have considered directed panspermia the theory that organisms were deliberately transmitted to the earth by intelligent beings on another planet. So again, to put it in layman's terms, maybe aliens brought life to Earth, and that's how life got started on Earth. Kind of a silly thought, that little caricature, but that's what it really is. Let's watch one other video. This video is, again, of Richard Dawkins, and in it, he's going to be asked if he can give one example, just one example, of a case where mutations increase the information in the DNA, in the genome of something. And he's not going to have an answer. There's going to be a big, long silence. So as you watch this video, you may say, hey, there's something wrong with the sound. There's no sound. There's nothing wrong with your sound. It's just that he's silent. He cannot give an answer. So let's watch that.
Can you give an example of a genetic mutation or an evolutionary process which can be seen to increase the information in the genome?
Can you just stop one? I think
it's kind of revealing, and the interview goes on after this, but he does not give an answer. He kind of changes up the question. He does not address the question. So we know of thousands of mutations in the DNA, and many of these create diseases. Sickle cell anemia, color blindness, cystic fibrosis, but we don't know of one example of a mutation that increases the information in a genome. Not one. Copying of genes, by the way, is not new information. You're merely copying information. It's not original. I'm talking about adding information, adding complexity. So the evolutionists have no good answer. And the next video we're going to show you that life could not have happened in any universe. You can give your own presentations. I'd like to invite you to use the free downloads of the PowerPoints used in these videos at educate7.com. And I encourage you to download them. You might change them up a little bit. Give your own presentations. So in our next presentation, part 6, we're going to show that it's not possible to get information by chance in any universe. In other words, we're going to rule out aliens from a physical scientific perspective. Searching for life on Mars or on other planets, it's a waste of time. It could not happen that way. So we'll talk about that a little bit in the next video. Thanks for joining us.